everyone, welcome to Soul Therapy. Today I'm going to talk to you about highly sensitive people, or HSPs. And more specifically, I'm going to talk to you about being an empath. In this video, you'll learn what is an empath, what are some of the signs and symptoms of having empathic abilities, what it's like to be an empath, and what you can do if you think you have the gift. So let's get started. Do you find yourself defining yourself as someone who feels other people's energy? Do other people tend to call you sensitive or over emotional? Do you care deeply about other people's well-being and feel emotionals on a really intense level? You might actually be an empath. Empaths are people who experience emotions on a very deep level and are extremely sensitive to other people's energy. This energy could be emotional, but it's more of a combination of being very receptive to other people's feelings, energy around you, animals and children, sometimes even plants. Now, there are different levels to this. Some people have extreme sensitivity, and others don't really notice it that much until they're maybe in a really overwhelming situation, but you can definitely get there a lot more easily than the average person. I'm going to give you 15 signs that are very common to most empathic people. There are certainly more signs than this, and you don't have to have all of them to be considered empathic. Just keep in mind that empathic people, and if you are one of them, you're just really sensitive, usually more than others, to energy, emotions, and your environment. 1. As a child, you heard all too often how sensitive you are, how emotional you are. You may have heard, "Oh, you're so sensitive. Stop taking things so personally." Empaths hear this all the time. It starts in childhood, and unless you learn to control and build barriers over your ability, you will also be hearing it to this very day. 2, and we discussed this a few moments ago. You feel everything so intensely. Commercials, how they play on your emotions in the commercials. Empaths really connect with that. Animals, and we can feel the emotions of animals. Some might say we're projecting, but I disagree. I like to use the example of being in the car with somebody who's really anxious or gets really irritated by the road real easily. It's painful for an empath because we're absorbing that information and it makes us really sick emotionally. You can just basically tune into the energies around you and feel them on a very deep level and even physically. 3, your ability to empathize with other people's feelings is incredible. People actually are drawn to you because of this. They know that you get them. They feel that you connect with them in a way that nobody else can. And, people are drawn to that. Similarly, people who do not want you to connect with their emotions, let's say they're trying to hide it, avoid you because they don't want to be, to have you receptive to feeling what their emotions are if they're trying to hide them. But your compassion for other people is created by the fact that you can put yourself in someone else's shoes and actually feel what they're feeling. And there is no better connection in the world than having an empathic friend. We tend to attract each other to each other. So it's nice to have an empathic friend, especially if you're an empath. 4, empaths are big on standing up for social justice. They do not like to see an underdog in any situation. They will take the side of the underdog and they will be the ones fighting for social change. They will be the ones like what I am trying to do is trying to create change or influence change in the world in a positive way through my YouTube channel. Empaths fight causes. They do not like to see someone being taken advantage of. They despise racism and many other social injustices like sexism, child abuse. They just can't have it. And they really feel compelled to fight for the person on the losing end. Number 5, empaths are really anxious in large crowds. Some people would say that, oh, well, I'm claustrophobic, so that means that I'm an empath. That's a different thing. That is actually the space itself being confined. For empaths, it's more so of energy. So let's say it's a really crowded place, like a music hall or a conference of some sort. Empaths need personal space to define the barriers of their energy and others' energy because all of that energy in the room is being absorbed by the unprotected empath or the unknowing empath. So you may feel very anxious in those situations, very uncomfortable, and like you just want to get out of there. This is not a comfortable place for you. Number 6, empaths desire more than anything for connection with other people. They have this intense emotional feeling. They feel things so intensely. They connect with other people so intensely. And when other people don't reciprocate or can't connect back with them, it's extremely painful for us empaths. We desire more than anything in the world to have that connection with you. And that's why I said earlier, a best person to be in an empath's life is another empath, because it's two people who just want to connect, and it's not sexual, it's not romantic, there's no ulterior motive except just from the heart, genuine connection. Number 7 is boundaries. Empaths don't like to disappoint others. We don't like to be the cause of your discomfort, disappointment, anger, frustration. So a lot of empaths become doormats because they're like, you know what? Whatever's going to make you feel best, it's okay. I'll deal with it. And a lot of times that can render the empath to be emotionally sick, completely energetically drained, and a doormat. And who wants to be a doormat? So if you're a yes man or a people pleaser, there's a possibility that you might be an empath. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of the disappointment reflected back to them. So if we're feeling your energy and we just disappointed you, we're going to feel that energy and like feel it like it's our own. I'd rather just not disappoint you. Number 8, we call ourselves the human lie detectors. If you're lying, an empath knows. And this can be really hard in relationships. People like to have their privacy. If I don't want you to know that I'm upset, if I don't want you to know a detail of my life and I choose to fuddle the truth or lie in some kind of way, that's my right. But an empath picks up on it immediately. Whether it is just simply a highly sensitive person and not quite an empath, we can read your body language and the subtle nonverbal communication that your body gives off, whether it be dilating the pupils, an increase in blood pressure, or holding your breath, whatever those things. And we don't know we're doing it. It's just so natural to us because we're so sensitive to you and what's going on with you and your energy. That's the other thing is when you know you're telling a lie, you're going to change your frequency just enough that an empath's going to be like, whoa, in our minds, something just happened here, like something's wrong. And in that sense, we know when a person's lying. Number 9, some empaths are able to feel and locate where blockages are in their emotional body or their chakra system. As an empathic person, if I am having an emotional reaction to something, I know exactly where that emotion is located. And speaking to you as a therapist, I know a lot of my clients have no clue what I'm talking about. And as someone who's always had that ability, I had to learn that not everyone has that. So I know for me personally, that if I'm feeling anger, it's like right above my belly button. If I'm feeling fear, it's right under my rib cage. If I'm feeling compassion and love, I feel it in my heart. If I feel insecure and unsure, or most of my triggers from childhood are in my solar plexus. This I'm going to get more into when I do a video about the chakra system. I'm following both the research from history and also that of people who see energy. And I'm going to bring that to you with that video. 10 is actually pretty cool. At least for me, I enjoy it. I love talking to people. I love engaging with people. And 10 is that people actually sit down and tell you their life story. You've never met them before, and they want to tell you everything. People are drawn to you to talk about their life experiences, their problems. They see that you're an amazing person and they love talking to you. And I love that. That's why I'm a therapist. And that leads me to 11. Because you're an empath and people feel that, they're drawn to you to get advice. Everyone's always seeking advice from you. They love the advice you give because you're coming from a compassionate, non-judgmental, incredibly loving space. And so you give of yourself from experiencing what they're going through because you can connect with that emotion. Not to mention, empaths typically have had very difficult lives and they've experienced a lot of pain. And I believe that's how we can help others once we transmute our own issues and are able to give back from a place of having been there before. So had we never been through those things, we would never be able to help in the way that I believe we are here to do. Number 12. Empaths tend to have an affinity towards animals, plants, and children. These things all have their own energy sources. And because children have not been tainted by the world yet, animals live in their own world, and plants just emit pure energy. It's actually those three things are a vacation for empathic people. We love to interact with children. We love to play games with them, talk to them, just be in their presence. And the same with animals. You'll find most empathic people have at least one animal in their house. It really balances the energy out and allows us to spend time with someone and not be taking on their energy and being affected by their energy. Unless, of course, you have an abused animal, but it's perfect for an empath to go in and share their healing energy with that animal and nurse it back to life. I have 2 rescues in my house. I love rescuing animals and they love being here. And if I haven't said it over and over and over again, number 13 is taking on other people's energy. It is the worst thing about being an empath. I always say being an empath is a gift and a curse, because if you're in a bad mood, if you're sad, if you're angry, and you are attracted to me to come and unload and to come and get advice, I am left drained, because as an empathic person, I'm actually soaking in your energy. And they say that when you leave the presence of an empathic person, you feel so much better. But the empath is like isolated in bed for the next 3 days, just trying to process everything that you gave to them. And what a wonderful gift that is for you. But it can be very challenging. I can get very, very sick emotionally from being around too many negative people, or what you would say like energy vampires. It's really difficult. And there are times where I'll just shut myself out. You won't hear from me for days because I just need to be alone with my animals and, my crystals and journaling, because I love to journal. Once I process all that and I go through it and it's not mine, but once I've done that, I can go back out and just be myself and have fun again. Me to 14. Empaths are really susceptible to both depression and anxiety. Those two things can leave as quickly as they've come. Sometimes it can last for a couple of days, sometimes just hours. But when an empath is affected by depression for more than a week or so, the feelings are so intense at times that a lot of us will go on medication. And what happens from that is we keep ourselves in that state for a prolonged period of time. The medication is not allowing you to process what you need to come up for healing, let it out, learn from it, and move on. So when you take the pill, it suppresses that and you aren't able to feel those feelings that you need to. So you're kind of suppressing your powers with that pill. I'm not saying that if you suffer from depression or anxiety that you are an empathic person. I'm saying that it is a symptom of being an empathic person. So I'm not advocating not taking medication if you have major depressive disorder or incredible anxiety disorder with panic attacks. You may need to use the medication in conjunction with a therapist and taper down unless you're in a very severe situation where it's just best for you to be on medication. I'm just talking about empaths who have ups and downs of depression and anxiety, and it's actually coming from the fact that your body is a receiver of energy. It is constantly absorbing the energy around it unless you learn how to put up protection and boundaries. And because of that, you're going to feel waves of depression that may last long. And we can get trapped in the medication, especially if we don't know who we are. So number 15 is that empaths can be highly susceptible to addictive behaviors. Most empaths are addicted to something that eases the pain of being extremely sensitive. You could be addicted to gardening. You could be addicted to alcohol, cooking, shopping, sex, anything that distracts you from all the intense energy that you feel all the time. I have learned to become addicted to learning. I love learning about myself. I feel the more I learn about myself, the more I can help others. And I'm kind of addicted to that too. So, what to do if you think you might be an empath, right? Okay, I think I'm an empath now. This is crazy. I never knew that there was a label to this. What do I do now? I've mentioned several times in this video, most important thing you want to do, learn about protection and learn about boundaries. As a therapist, what I would tell you to learn boundaries or practice boundaries is to go to an AA meeting or get involved in in AA. In those groups, you'll learn a lot about boundaries. It's also really important to practice meditation. Meditate as much as you can. Whatever meditation works for you. For me, meditation is journaling. I can also do guided meditations with myself, and I love shamanic breath work. For me, it's just amazing. But for you, it might be going jogging. It might be washing the dishes or cooking dinner. Whatever it is for you that puts you in a meditative state where you're not thinking about the problem, but you kind of get lost in time and space, that is what you want to do, and spend a lot of time doing it. Also, empaths need a lot of sleep. So ignore people who sleep 4 to 6 hours a day and they're like, I can't believe you sleep 8 or 9. You sleep 8 or 9 because you need it, and you're constantly absorbing energy, and it takes a lot to handle that. And if you need the extra sleep, you need to do that. You need to set that time for yourself. Either go to bed earlier, wake up later if you can, or take a nap if you can, but somehow get extra rest. I just mentioned one of the things I love to do as far as meditating is journaling. Journaling is so important, even from a therapist standpoint. I direct all of my clients to journal, keep a journal. And it's really important that you check in with yourself, let yourself know what are the events that happened today and how did they make me feel? What am I feeling right now? And what can I do to feel better? It really works so much, and people underestimate that greatly. I also suggest to my clients getting an emotional tone scale, and you can Google that. I also have one on my website. If you have trouble looking for it, please send me an email at kristen@soultherapytct.com and I will send you one. Basically, it's just a way to gauge where you are in your day emotionally. And it is so valuable to have something that's tangible that you can really see, where am I at emotionally and how far can I get myself up this emotional tone scale. And it really, really, really helps wonders, especially for law of attraction, which I'll do a video about that in the future. I also mentioned earlier about getting out in nature, putting your feet in the grass, going on the beach and walking on the sand, laying down outside and looking at the clouds, taking a hike, going for a walk, anything you can do to be outside and hear the birds chirping and allow the energy of animals and plants to commune with you. And lastly, there are tons of empaths in this world. I mean, we are the minority, but there are still a ton of us. And I would suggest going on meetup.com or on Facebook somewhere and just finding groups where you can join in and really commune and meet with people that are like yourself. I like to do that on YouTube. There are so many empathic people on YouTube, and I just love to listen to them and know I'm not alone and get tips from them and stuff. So I would really suggest you do something like that. So with that, lovies, I am done with this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, like, subscribe. If you would like to get in contact with me, my email address is kristen@soultherapytct.com, and you can find my website at www.soultherapytct.com. I am a therapist, a life coach, and a hypnotherapist. So if you would like to check out some of my services or book an appointment, you can do that on my website. Bye, lovies.